Una saluto. So young man don't die for Bamenda for corner Sabga Hill. I don't want to get fine boy, fine boy, fine boy. I said, but now it's it. I want my son, I did very more. Father Reverend Sop, they died for boy a year. And it's not been long that we're here talking about Jean de Dieu, Minister Delegate for Justice, with the Lord CPT for Bamenda. This story is a breaking news. A young businessman popularly known as Huspuppi. Huspuppi na people that budget has been shot dead after a gun opened fire on the private vehicle he was traveling in the Sabga Hill near Bambili, Mezam Division of the Northwest City. The incident happened on Friday, July 24, 2026, as the man and other passengers were reportedly returning from a funeral. According to sources, he sustained gunshot wounds during the attack and died shortly afterward. His body has been taken to the Bamenda Regional Hospital. Several people traveling with him were reportedly abducted during the attack. The deceased was widely known for running a business at Old Town Bamenda. The motives behind the attack remain unclear, and the identity of gunmen are yet to be established. So, dear friend, the fact that say a man is dead, it happened on Sabga corridor. Passengers were abducted. The motive is unofficially unclear. And the identity of the attacker also have not been established. Everything else, the theory that this was a case of jealousy, targeting a successful man, the claim that soldiers were mistaken to be in the vehicle, the whisper about who exactly was traveling with him, that is speculation. Painful, understandable speculation from a population that has been filled so many times. It is now filled in the blanks itself. He now fills the blank himself because no one in authority is filling them for us. But speculation is not truth. Amel Cyril will not hand you a theory dressed up as a fact. That very Sabga Hill is not a new name. Here is what should worry every single Cameroonian watching this. Whether you are in Bamenda, Douala, Yaoundé, or scrolling from Toronto, Sabga Hill is not an unfamiliar name in this crisis. That stretch of road has been a flashpoint for years. Ambushes, roadblock, adoption. It sits on one of the main arteries linking the Northwest to the rest of the country, which is exactly why it keeps being targeted and exactly why it should have been secure a long time ago. Nearly a decade into this crisis, a funeral convoy still cannot travel that route safely. That is not a detail. That is an entire indictment. The fear is real and it is everywhere online. Scroll through the reaction to this story and you will see the same messages repeated in a dozen different voices. Don't come home. Stay where you are. Send money. Don't send yourself. One comment puts it plainly. Home is not just risky. It is totally risky. Think about what that means for a region, for a country. An entire diaspora is being told by its own people on the ground in real time. Your safety is not guaranteed here. Businessmen, professionals, successful people, the very people whose investment and presence this country desperately needs are being advised to stay away because success itself has apparently become a liability in some corner of the Northwest. That is not resilient talking. That is exhaustion talking. That is a population that has stopped expecting protection and started managing risks on its own because the state has not shown up. Who is supposed to answer for this? Mayor Cyril has one question for the people whose actual job it is to secure these countries wrote. Where is the security presence on a corridor that has documented history of exactly this kind of attack? Where is the investigation timely? Where is the official communication to the families of the abducted who right now have no idea whether their loved ones are alive? We keep hearing that the government has plans for the Northwest and the Southwest. Nearly 10 years of plans. Meanwhile, ordinary people cannot uh, bury their death without uh, burying another one on the way home from the cemetery. The broader pattern. This is not an isolated tragedy, and treating it like one is part of the problem. This is what nearly a decade of unsolved crisis produces, a normalized backdrop of violence, where a young man's death become just another headline scrolling past, competing for attention with the next one and the one after. Some of you in the comments said it yourself. The Northwest has recorded some of the highest death toll of this entire crisis. This is not an accident of geography. That is the direct cause of a government that has treated the escalation as an option. And to those online already turning this into content, chasing the buzz, naming names without evidence, feeding an audience that wants a villain more than it wants the truth. Mayor Cyril will say what needs to be said. Grief deserves better than speculation dressed up as breaking news. Let the investigators do their job. Let the family bury their son with dignity. The facts, when they come, will be damning enough on their own. They don't need embellishment. What this country owes its people. Here is the truth. This story forces us to confront again. Security is not a privilege reserved for convoys with escort and the checkpoint clear in advance. It is supposed to be a basic guarantee for every Cameroonian. For every minister's son. Where Whether you are a minister's son or a businessman from Old Town or returning from funeral, until that guarantee actually exists, not promised, in progress, but real, stories like this one will keep happening. And the same conversation, shock, condolences, theory, and this silence until the next name trend. Condolences to the family of the young man, remember as Huspuppi. Condolences to every family to this holiday waiting for news of a loved one taken from the vehicle. They deserve answers, not silence. They deserve a route they can travel without fear. This has been Cyril, the mayor. We shall be yours again subsequent. Like, subscribe, and stay engaged because this conversation isn't over.